Welcome back. This is the last video in this series. This is now going to be the final 20 cartridges that we're going to build, this time using the Lee turret press. In the prior video, you saw me build the 20 cases on a Lee single stage. We timed it. Even showed you how much it was going to cost to build those cartridges. Now we're going to finish it up with the 20 cartridges, or 20 cases now we're going to build on a Lee turret press. We'll time it, see how long it takes. We already know it's going to be quicker, but just how much faster is it going to be on this turret press? Stick around, let's find out. Okay, before we get started, let's take off the single stage press that we used in the previous video to do the 20 cases. The Lee quick change plate makes it very easy to do. I like this thing. It allows me an easy way to go between presses, easy change equipment, and a good mounting bracket, solid and stable. Just pull it off. I store this down below, and then I pick up my turret press, stick it in, and just attach it to the table. It's 4 easy screws, and then I have a little screwdriver that goes into the hole in the back that adds a little more stability to the entire system. And now that's done. I've just changed from the single stage press to the turret press, and now it's just a matter of setting up or exchanging the turrets that we have. Now this is the turret. This is the little 4-hole turret. It's going to go in here and lock into place. This is the advancing rod that also goes into the press. And as you turn it, it advances the turrets in here. This is the turret I'm going to set up now for the 308. And that's all there is. That's now in place. And as I advance, you'll see it actually rotates. So now I'm going to set up the dies. You set it up exactly the way you did for the single stage press. Now this is the primer tool here. Now what's different about the single stage to the turret press is you may have noticed when I was using the single stage, this little tool popped out once. I had to pick it up and put it back in. Well, Lee has fixed that on this press, and that you have to insert it vertically straight down, and then it's locked into place. That's not coming out. There's my shell holder. And now this is not going to pop out. So they fixed that on this particular turret press. Raise it until it touches, and then lower it. Do it again until it touches. Lower, and then 1/4 turn, and then you're going to lock it in place. Okay, now that's done. The next stage is the crimp. Till it touches, lower the ram, and then go 1/2 turn. And now that's set. Then it's just a matter of locking down the nut. Okay, now that's done. What you also see on here is I leave a hole open. That's going to be for when I prime the case. And then the final thing here is this this contraption on top. This is the auto disc measure. It's going to now to discharge and put out the right amount of powder. I'm going to go in here now. In the next piece of this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate the amount of powder to put in through this disc system. All right, the way this works is that you have two discs that go on top of each other for the large cases. These holes then are each different size in cc's. So this is measuring the powder that's going to drop out of the tank here into these holes. These holes then need to be aligned properly so that when you advance it, it will dispense the powder down this hole. On the larger cartridges, it requires two to sit on top of each other and dispense like this. What you have to then do, make sure is if you have two sizes, put the smaller one on top, the larger one on bottom, so that the powder does completely go through all the way. Now the way to figure this and compute which of these you have to put on here, the Autodesk powder measure comes with a little book, and in that book is all these different measurements for the different powder. Now in this case I'm using IMAR 4064, and I'm going to do the mathematical method of figuring out and computing how much powder to put in. So I go to the chart for IMAR 4064, and I find what is known as the VMD amount, which is the volume measuring density. Take the volume measure density for IMAR 4064, which is 0.745. So 0.745. Multiply that by the grains that you're supposed to load from. Then you take that from your book for the case, the powder measure, and the bullet size. All that goes into how many grains of powder that you have to put in. So multiply that times how many grains. Let's say you're doing 40 grains. Then you have a volume of 298 cc's. So then you look at 298, and at the bottom it tells you the two discs that you have to use to stack in order to get the right amount of volume. And you consult here, get the one that's closest to what you're looking for, and then you put those two discs together. You take off the two brass nuts, one on each side, lift this up, put these two in, and then bolt it back together. Now that's how you set the powder measure. You then take a case, empty, insert it, and as you come up, you'll notice it now is bringing the disc forward. Now what you have to do is align this properly. So as the discs are moving forward, you see how they move? You want to make sure that the front of the disc is even with the unit here. And the way you do that is you can back this off a bit, and now that makes it more level. So that's how you do that. It makes it a little straighter. You want it to be perfectly aligned so that the powder coming out is dispensed down this tube. Two things to note here. One is the Autodesk powder measure comes with from here up. But when you stick on the primer feed, then if you don't have this extender, it's going to whack that, and that's not going to work. So there's two different versions. This is the long rifle charging die. You'll need to have that extender on here in order to lift this unit up to get above the primer feed tool. There's a different one, a short rifle charging die, that will bring it down about this high for when you're doing 300 blackout. So you have two different versions, short and long. For the 308, it's going to require the longer one for it to get above the primer feed tool here. So let's take a look at how this is going to work. I'm now in the hollow position. There's nothing in this empty slot here. I'm going to go ahead and load in powder and get it ready to go. Now I'm going to turn it on. By doing that, by twisting it, don't know if you could hear it, but it actually filled the bends here, and it filled up the holes that are in here. You need a primer, so you'll raise the ram, insert a primer, make sure anvil is up, come back down, and then insert the primer. And that's done. Now I'm going to raise the ram, and now the powder has come out of the disc and has flowed into the case right here. You can visually inspect it. I'm going to come over now and measure the amount of powder that's coming out to see if it's like I want. Okay, obviously I have set this up prior to starting the filming of the video because I got it right. But that's how you set it up. I've done the math. I knew which disc to put in that would then feed the right amount of powder. And that's what I've got now, is this is ready to go. I now would then fill the case with powder, take a bullet. Remember, I come in and I hold the ram down, I push forward on the knob here. That holds the case in place while I then insert the bullet. Now that's all the way up. Let's see how our bullet seed is. .75. We're at 2.75. So I do not have to make any adjustments on the little screw knob here. This is now set up properly. It's in place. It's ready to go. Probably because I had it set up properly on the single stage. Next thing I'm going to do is bring it up, put the crimp in, and now I have a completed case. Now this is ready to go. The next thing to do is to just time it to see how long it takes. one. Here we go. All right, 7:45. I think we shaved a few minutes off the time of the single stage press. Once you get it set up, this thing rocks. I can sit here and do this for hours. This is easy. But the only thing I have to worry about is running out of powder. I do have to keep an eye on that because this is so smooth. It just rocks. It's good. You'll have 100 primers in here. You'll fill this with powder. You'll have all your supplies ready to go, and you're just going to knock this out. So now you've seen it. You've seen the case prep. You've now seen me build 20 on a single stage press and now 20 on a turret press. I prefer to do this method. I prefer starting off with a single stage to do my case prep, and then I like switching back over to the turret press so that I can then speed up the last process. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I think that this is a vital part of any survival solution, is to have your ability to reload and build your own ammunition. In the time of a true disaster and a grid down situation, you cannot run to the store to get more ammo. This is going to be the primary way that you're going to have to resupply and keep yourself supplied in good ammunition. Also, what I'm going to do at the very end of this video is actually show you the cost to build this. I'm going to show you the cost it is for the case, cost for the primer, the bullet, the powder. I'm not going to take into consideration my time because I'd much rather be doing this than I had watching television, and then this is how I spend my evenings. It keeps me out of trouble. It really does. Hope you've enjoyed it, and now look forward to the total time and the cost to build. Well, now let's take a look at the results we have timed for the Lee turret press. We did a total build time for the 20 cases that included doing the crimp, which we had to do separately on the single stage press. We were able to do all stages on this build using the turret press, 7 minutes 45 seconds. So how does that add up now? Well, total time to build 20 cartridges, 34 minutes 30 seconds. Now, how does that look now per cartridge? Well, it's about 1 minute and 43 seconds per cartridge. When you think about it, that's just not that long to build a cartridge. So do you have time in your life to do it? Probably so. So let's take a look at how the quantities turn out for all these different quantities. Total time to build, 34 minutes, 30 seconds, and you can see how it increments up. 100 cartridges is only 2 hours and 52 minutes. So that really is not a lot of time. 500, you can still do that in a weekend. Now for 1,000, 28 hours, 45 minutes, almost 29 hours, still a good time to do 1,000 cartridges. But how does that now compare to what we were able to do on the single stage press? How much time did we really save? Well, here you go. There are the numbers. On 20 cartridges, we only saved 33 minutes and 45 seconds. But when you start getting into the 100 and 500 and the larger quantity of 1,000, you can start to see how a significant difference in the time for that Lee turret press. So if time is something that you're concerned about or worried about, maybe you should build on the Lee turret press instead of the single stage. Now, how about the cost to build? Well, my cost for these supplies, cases, I buy on the internet in a lot of 1,000. These are once-fired military brass. I get them for about $65 for 1,000 or 6.5 cents each. Primers, a whopping 4 cents. I buy those locally. Powder, I get for $35 a pound. And in a pound, there are 7,000 grains. So you take the 35 divided by the 7,000, then you multiply the grains that are in the load. The load I did today, 42 grains per cartridge, equals 21 cents cost of powder. the bullet. I buy the bullets online. I get them for about $30 a hundred. These are Hornady SST 308 caliber in the 165 grains. So about 30 cents a bullet. This is how it breaks out into the quantities that I use. So my cost to build for 20 cartridges is about $12.30. Here locally, the best price I can find on 308 is about $20 or $1 per cartridge. So I'm having a pretty good savings there. As you work up to the larger quantities, you can see that my savings is significant against the lowest price cartridge I can find in my area. However, I'm building a quality cartridge using a high-end bullet. So that makes my cost to compare, I need to compare it to that same cartridge built by the manufacturer. So I look up on the internet and I see that the comparable cartridge is $28.99 for the same 20. So now you can see the cost difference is really dramatic. When you get up to the 1,000 cartridges, it is a significant change in the price. What it amounts to is about a 58% savings build versus buy. That is significant enough for me to then want to build my ammunition rather than go and buy it. I'm getting a better cartridge with a higher quality bullet that I know my powder is the same measurement for every cartridge that I build. I'm very confident in the ammunition that I have. I'm very comfortable with it. I've shot it at the range. It does exactly how I expect. My groupings are better. I'm on target more often than with the store-bought cartridges that I'm getting for $1 a piece. So cost versus build versus buy, no doubt, hands down, you need to build your own. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I've enjoyed bringing this to you, and let's see you again on the next video. Well, now we've completed the build on those 20 cartridges. You've now seen the process now on the Lee single stage and the turret press. You'll know it's going to be faster on the turret press, but now you understand the differences and how much quicker it is. I like using both. The single stage for my initial case prep of the deprime and reshape, and then using the turret press for the final stages of seating the primer, the powder, seating the bullet, and then crimping the bullet. I find that to be very relaxing. I enjoy this a lot. I hope you see that it can be fun. You do need to make sure that you're taking this as a serious process so that you don't have any shortcuts. There's just no shortcuts in doing this, but it is a lot of fun. This is something that I do in the evenings, and I think that I like to pass this on to my friends and family to show them just how much fun it is and how relaxing it can be. Have fun and be safe on the range.